Hey guys, what is up? Brennan here, aka Brenbo, bringing you guys another video on the Cobra Terminator, because today we'll be putting on a 2.76 inch pulley on the Supercharger, the upper pulley, which makes the most power, which is a huge mod for this car because the blower can then spin faster and produce about 4 pounds more boost, which really helps. But you need a couple things to support that, which I will also be doing today. So I will be putting in some NGK TR6 spark plugs. These are about the most popular spark plugs people run in these cars, unless you have like a Whipple or something, but these are really good plugs. They're copper, so they're super cheap, which is not a problem. Some people say it has like a weird bog at 1500 RPMs because of the copper. So you can get iridiums and they're like the TR6 IX, and it gets rid of that bog, but they're like twice as much money and there's really no need for them. So today we're using the TR6 spark plugs, the Billet Flow 2.76 inch supercharger pulley, and also you have to get a smaller belt because you're decreasing the size of the pulley, which makes the belt have some slack. So I'm getting a 74-inch belt from Gates, really good brand. They produce really good products, so it's a really strong belt, and I will have no slack in my belts. You can also get a tensioner, but just getting a new belt ensures that your belt is fresh and new, and then you can prevent slack without getting a whole new tensioner. So we're getting rid of this dinner tray and making it a lot smaller. So with the Billet Flow, it's gonna have different screws so you can put on different sizes if you want. It's not here yet, so I can't show you guys the pulley, but let's just say it's gonna make this blower spin really fast. If you go any smaller than that, you can overspin the blower and then overspin the alternator and then just go through alternators like crazy. Or if you get a smaller crank pulley, it can also overspin the blower and not help you much at all. So this is like the only pulley that I'm going to make smaller, and then eventually I'll get upgraded idler pulleys because those tend to blow when you're under high boost. So right now I'm gonna put in the spark plugs. They're super easy on this car, obviously 8 of them. 1 per cylinder. I know in the Hemis there's like 2. It's pretty easy. The only thing you really have to take off is the intake on the passenger side of the car. Everything else you can get to pretty easy. So the spark plugs are under these covers right here that say V8 32 valve. There's just 2 bolts on each side. Take that off. And then obviously on this side you have the intake right here. So you just gotta pull off the intake and the cover's right there. This is very easy if you guys ever done spark plugs on a car. Not hard at all. Just make sure you torque them correctly and make sure they are gapped correctly. Gap is very important. It depends on what you have done to the car, but most people that put the pulley on have kind of full bolt-ons. They run about 0.35 of an inch. So I'm gonna be doing that. When you get into higher boost, like a Whipple or something, or have headers or more bolt-ons, you can do like 0.32, 0.34, but I'll be doing 0.35. That's a really common gap for these spark plugs. Everyone says they run amazing, no misfires or anything, so I'll be doing that. I almost forgot to mention, to tie this all together, you need a tune. So I got the Rev X tuner from Bama. This is their best tuner. With the new Rev X, you can download files from the cloud. You don't have to use a computer or anything, so it makes it super easy. I'm gonna be getting the pulley tune on this, getting a 93 octane and 91 octane tune. Everywhere just about in Michigan has 93, so the only reason I would get a 91 tune is if I went out of state for like a rally or something, and for some reason they didn't have 93, so I'll be getting 2 of those tunes, and they'll obviously support the pulley, the intake, my exhaust, everything I've done so far, and give me some really good power. So basically before the tune, the intake and everything hasn't really gave me much power. The car's just not tuned for it, air to fuel ratio wise, so this is gonna bring it all together. These are great tuners. The tuners themselves are really nice. You can talk to them, they'll explain everything to you. And it's just really nice. Bama is one of the most like well-known tuner for a Mustang, so you can't go wrong with that. Now that I explained everything to you guys and we're gonna make the Terminator live up to the hype that it always has, I'm gonna get started on the spark plugs. So after you take that cover up, obviously there are the spark plugs, the ignition coils on top of them. So you're just gonna wanna unclip each ignition coil and they just pop out, spark plug V right there, replace all 8, and then I'll move on to the pulley. So these are the old spark plugs. I'm guessing they're OEM, they're Motorcraft, which is Ford's brand. And the spark plugs are in a little bit worse of condition than I thought they would be for the car having 20,000 miles. And I measured all the gaps on all of them, and some of them are pretty different from each other's, which is kind of surprising just for having 20,000 miles. I know it's a 2003, but still the mileage is what really matters. So the new plugs should really help just because I have them gapped a lot tighter for the pulley, and then obviously they're new plugs. A lot of people say with these TR6s, you actually could replace them every oil change, which I might think of doing because they're so cheap. Some are more black than others, as you can see. There we go, spark plugs are all good. So now it's time to move on the main part, the pulley. So I was attempting to take off my Supercharger pulley. I bought a AutoZone puller, and this is the result. It bent the edges of the pulley, so that's not going to be reusable. And it also stripped my threads. So here's the tool right here. I kind of modified it. I sanded it down right here to make it skinnier and go on the pulley better, but it didn't work. And what happened was this point right here went in my threads and actually started pulling the threads, therefore stripping it. So what I just did, so I re-tapped the hole with this tap. Luckily it came out good and the bolt goes in there just fine. But the reason I got this AutoZone tap is I really didn't want to spend $120 on a bullet flow puller for this exact pulley, but that's what I ended up doing, so I ordered that. Cost me about $120 from American Muscle. It's made just for this pulley on the Cobra and then the GT500 pulley. So it'll basically for sure work. It's just the point where I had to spend $120 on it, and now I have to wait like 4 days for it to come in, and then I can finally get this done. I just really want to drive this, upload the new tune, and then just see how this thing feels, but gonna have to wait. I'm gonna wait on that, and I'll get back to you when I get the puller in, and then I can pull this pulley off. So here is the Metco pulley puller for the 03 to 04 Cobras and the GT500. So this horseshoe is made just for this pulley, and as you can see, this is a lot different from what I was using. So basically, you've got these two bolts holding the horseshoe to the metal rod, or whatever you want to call it, and then the bolt that threads actually into the supercharger to keep it centered, and you have another head right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold this bolt stationary and then turn this bolt right here counterclockwise, and that's just gonna pull the pulley off. So I'm going to do that. Hopefully this works. It should for how much I spent, and I can maybe finally get this installation done. So as you can see, guys, the pulley is now off. That tool worked like a charm. Totally worth the $130 I spent on it. So if you guys want to make this installation super easy, just pay the money, get the tool, and you won't wreck anything on the supercharger, and it will be easy, pain-free. So right here, you guys can see the upgrade pulley and the stock pulley. Huge difference. You can even fit this one inside of there and still wiggle around. So this is definitely going to help me a ton, create a lot more boost. Can't wait to put this on. I'm going to do it tomorrow since it's really late. I'm going to heat it in the oven, 400 degrees for about 30 minutes, and then slide it right on when it's hot instead of using the installation tool to put this on, because I've heard it's just a lot simpler just to heat it up. And it should slide right on because the metal inside the ring will expand, therefore making it slide on the shaft super easy. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. Shazam! I finally got this done. As you guys can see, the new Gates green belt is on, and it is on all the pulleys and idlers just fine. So like I was saying, I was really worried about this belt because it's a 74-inch belt, which is pretty short compared to the stock belt. Some people say it won't even fit. So I really wanted a short belt for the reason I didn't want it to slip, because when you put these pulleys on, it's really common for these belts to slip, you'll lose boost, and then basically you lost the point of putting this pulley on. So I wanted to try to fit the tightest belt I could on to prevent slippage, and the 74-inch is basically the shortest you can go on a belt. So I managed to get that on, super happy about that. And how I did it was I first started from the bottom, and then I put it on the supercharger, and the last pulley I put it on was the one right here. And the reason I chose that one is because it doesn't have a ridge like the supercharger, so when the belt is really tight and there's not much left, you don't have to fight it over this ridge. Here it's just nice and smooth, so you can kind of slide it on. So I recommend whatever pulley you choose to put it on last, make sure it doesn't have a ridge, because it'll make it a whole lot easier, trust me. So I'm gonna start this bad boy up, see how it runs, and hopefully everything's good, because I can't wait to drive it. So I'm gonna give her a start and see how it sounds. So as you guys can see, the pulley turned out good. It runs great, sounds good, I hope. Well, I know it will actually, I don't need to hope. So that will conclude it for today's video. It was just an installation, obviously, of me putting the smaller pulley on, the new belt, and the spark plugs, everything you kind of need when you do an upper pulley on a supercharger for a Cobra. I put the tune on already, you guys didn't see that, so the tune's already on there if you guys were wondering. But that's really about it. It's not that hard of an install if you have the right tools, I've learned. So if you buy the correct tools, it should be a super easy install. I would say actually it'd take like an hour max if you have the right tools, because it's not much stuff to take off and it's just learning the tool basically. So nothing really hard at all. But next video will be me reacting to the car with the pulley, and then maybe some other people too, I'm not sure. But you definitely do not want to miss that video. So I recommend you guys go down below, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you guys know when I upload it. So you guys can see my reaction, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be giggling like a girl. But you never know. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching me install this pulley and the struggle I had with installing it. Like I said, you guys can do it easy. I had a lot of fun doing this. I love doing things to my cars, obviously. Next is window tint. Obviously, I probably won't have a video of that because I'm dropping it off at a shop. But I'll show you guys it when it's done. It's gonna look really good. I think I'm gonna do 15 side window, back window, and then a 45 for the windshield. So I really wanna do the windshield unlike the Audi because it'll just complete the whole look. So I'll show you guys that in upcoming videos, but I won't have a separate video for that. But throw down a like if you're happy that I'm upgrading the supercharger and I'm adding some big power to the car now. I bet you guys can't wait to see what's next. And I'll see you guys later. So that's about it. I'll see you guys in the next video of me reacting to this pulley. Peace out.